Hey you! Yeah you, come here. Do you like to play Skyrim? You do? No, I don't think you heard me there. Do you actually play Skyrim? Or do you boot up and back out the game like 10 to 100 times a day, constantly downloading new mods and switching up your load order, only ever spending about 10 minutes in-game to grab screenshots you'll post to Reddits and Discords to be praised for your graphics while telling everyone to get good when they ask how to get their own game looking like yours? See, there's a slight difference, but I don't judge anyone for doing the latter. Skyrim modding in of itself, whether it's making them or putting them together, is a hobby. See, sometimes when I'm not making videos or dealing with the outside world, I get this occasional spark where I actually want to play the game. Like no god mode, no flying around everywhere, no. I mean actually playing, as if rewinding the time back to my younger days when it first came out. But see now, today we have mods, and while I do like to indulge in the ones that let me walk around as Batman or become a goat, I do reserve some extra appreciation for the ones that can be used to enhance my experience for when I properly want to play, which is what today's video is all about. Starting with Cinematic Sprint by, Soju? Whatever the name, it's a banger of a mod, based off of Doodle's popular camera noise, a plugin that gave us that God of War style natural cinematic shake to make the camera feel less floaty and more grounded and dynamic. Cinematic Sprint is a sort of preset adjusting the shake in a way that makes the sprinting look and feel more impactful. See, if you've ever felt like there's something lacking with the sprinting mechanics, no matter the amount of sprinting animation mods you've tried out, then I can almost guarantee this mod to be it. It just grabs you by the eyes, pulling you into each step as you feel a character's momentum shift from toe to toe. For such a small addition, it makes sprinting a lot more enjoyable, bringing it to a more modern AAA title game look rather than that floaty MMORPG look it often reminds me of when running around in third person. Using Cinematic Sprint on top of any sprint animation mod you like, plus some form of smooth cam setup, I personally like Galuna's preset by Luna bringing you closer into the action, and Fuchsia's vanilla enhanced too. That comes with a way for you to quickly switch between a far away and close-up camera as you're navigating your way through tight spaces. And we're not done taking cues from more modern games to implement into Skyrim. See, a mod that has become a must-have favorite of mine since it came out last September is Compass Navigation Overhaul by AlexiLex. The base vanilla compass is lacking, so much so that I've seen numerous people use mods like iHUD to hide it completely. But what if you didn't have to hide it? What if you didn't have to open a map to figure out what quest markers you're looking at and where you need to go? I mean, what if the compass wasn't just a wasteful piece of shit? Well, Compass Navigation Overhaul fixes it all, and I mean it all. From top to bottom while staying true to the game's design. It adds important and useful information to the different markers, like the names so you'll know what you're looking at, as well as the distance. There's even a cute little arrow indicator letting you know of height differences, so you can figure out useful routes rather than ending up face to face with a cliff wall. And it does it all very smoothly, with my favorite feature being the quest list widget that appears when facing a quest marker, or markers should you be facing a door. The mod allows you to navigate the world in a more seamless way as it lessens the time you'd otherwise be spending in menus. And that is also the case when using the mod Quick Loot by FudgyDuff, also known as Ryan. This quite simply adds a looting menu, similar to what can be seen in the newest Fallout games as well as Outer Worlds. It allows you to take a peek and interact with whatever's inside a lootable container. So whether you found a chest or stumble upon a dead body, you don't have to commit to the looting sequence that occurs when you're met by the standard items menu. But see, the only issue I've ever had with this is the look of the little quick loot menu itself. You know, I like having all my HUDs and menus kinda match. Luckily, there's a mad lad called Conqueranto who made a texture replacer I've been using ever since it came out, and trust me, I don't think I'm ever looking to get rid of it. I personally prefer using the dialogue style box as it's what fits the look of my game. I've always liked the traditional style of Skyrim's HUD and menus, so I like keeping that aesthetic whenever I add changes to the UI and all that. It looks neat, works perfectly, and keeps me immersed in whatever it is I'm doing. If you were to come into my room and try to remove either Quick Loot or Compass Navigation Overhaul from my load order, I would have no choice but to give you a stinging smack to the face. Now, on the off chance some of you watching might be into that, just please don't ever come into my house. That is unless you have a pretty face and a thick Continuing on the path of seamless gaming, menus and simple improvements, we've got the recently released mod Show Player in Menus by Mystic Rice. Listen, if you've ever found yourself having the issue of not being able to see what it is you're equipping in real time while going through items and gear in the inventory, then this is for you. The mod lets you see your characters in the different equipping menus so you can easily go through all your armors and weapons without having to back in and out of the gameplay. It even lets you rotate the player to get all the angles, and it works for most of the menus, including inventory, container, barter, and magic. And there's a lot of customizability here, whether it comes down to other mods you can use to amplify it, or the position of the camera and different forms of layout in the mod configuration menu. Closing in on almost 90,000 downloads in a month, it's clear to see that this is a type of mod people have been waiting for some time. And well, now I definitely see why. Not only does it look quite sleek, it makes the Skyrim experience a lot more enjoyable, and it's definitely not going out of my load order anytime soon. It's apparently meant to mimic the style of the inventory from Oblivion, and speaking of Oblivion, in case you didn't know, we put out an epic new special announcement trailer for Skyblivion a couple of weeks ago, which if you haven't seen yet, I'll have to lock you up. That's just disgusting behavior. But hey, if you want to redeem yourself, I'll put a link down below so you can go watch it after we're finished here. Next up, we have a set of mods from last year, all by one person who did something I'm guessing most of us have done at some point since Skyrim's release, which is to take a real skeptical look at the lackluster NPCs during conversation. I mean, where's the energy? Where's the effort? Where's that passion, I'm saying? Luckily, Chimgarden decided not to be a lazy whining bitch like the rest of us and actually did something about it. And not only once, nah, she came out with multiple different mods to add color to the otherwise bleak people seen in game. First, there was immersive folded hands, simply adding 5 short idols with folding hands for NPCs with some light variation according to their armor type, personality, and social status. But see, this was just a start, cause then came NPC Animation Remix, adding another set of idols like scratching of the head and general pondering, a whopping 22 idols. Then again, making the NPCs even more dynamic, came Gesture Animation Remix, adding over 40 dialogue gesture animation variants, working flawlessly together with the other 2 mods. All of these make use of Dynamic Animation Replacer as well, with all the animations having been sorted into different conditions correlating with the different NPCs' personalities, and it all just works. I certainly started paying a lot more attention to the characters standing in front of me rather than the subtitles ever since using these mods. Being more animated, they're naturally more interesting to look at, but Chimgarden didn't stop here. There's also Lively Children Animation, a mod that does, well, what the name implies. It extends the new idols and gestures to the children. Lively Cart Driver Animation replaces the dull animation of the cart drivers, giving them a bit more movement as they rock back and forth, looking more engaged as you converse with them. Conditional Tavern Cheering adds new applause and cheering animations to the listening patrons of the taverns. And if you're tired of seeing all the priests and worshippers pray to their deities in the same exact way, there's the last one, new praying animations. Yeah, I know, there's also that one last Chimgarden mod I haven't mentioned in Conditional Dog Barking, but I'ma be honest, take it as you will, but dogs are overrated. Yup, I said it. See, I prefer a more goated form of companionship. Anyways, these NPC animation altering mods from Chimgarden have been part of my load order for a long time, and I certainly don't see myself removing them anytime soon. They're quite simply incredible. And incredible is also the most accurate way to describe Rin's Standing Stones by Rin. If you don't know who this is by now, then you're in for a treat. See, he's made countless mods overhauling Skyrim's world space in a way that will provide players with new experiences when going to these locations. And these exact experiences as you explore his works mostly consist of smiles and excitement as you're awed by some incredibly good looking stuff. And the mod of his that had me in awe the most is this all-in-one version of his standing stones. Yup. Each and every standing stone from the base game has been overhauled to be more interesting and full of life. They've been changed in ways that thematically make sense. Take the Lady Stone. The location, iconic. The stone itself, not so much. So the mod makes the stone and its surroundings a lot more exciting and pretty to the eyes, leaving us with quite a memorable location that'll stick with you as you go on your adventures. I mean, just look at how much more intriguing the Atronach stone looks. I'd feel a lot more gassed walking up to this than what it looked like before. The mod makes each location feel more epic, important, magical, magical, and kinda lived in. Or maybe not lived in as if someone's been using it as a home, no, more in the sense of something's happened here, like there's a story to be read through the level design of each location. And not to mention, they all look good, really good. So good that this mod has a permanent spot in my load order, as it should in yours. Last up, we've got the oh-so visually pleasing Parallax Spell Impacts by Darth Blender, in addition to Isoku's Deadly Spell Impacts, a very popular mod that provided us with unique textures for the fire, lightning, frost, and insect spit impact seen on the ground when casting these different spells. Almost 5 years later, as we're at a point when we're looking to add parallax to pretty much any and everything in our game, Parallax Spell Impacts adds complex parallax to these textures. So when casting an ice spell, you'll be left with some real flaky looking crumbled together parallaxed ice. As a result of fire spells, you'll see these incinerated cracks, while the lightning spells will cause these holes, clearly caused by electrocuted blasts. Using this, you'll find that the mod gives all the classic spells a more impactful feel as you see what they leave behind in their wake. The spit and goo emitted by creepy insects makes them, well, even more creepy. Honestly, as of late, we've seen a lot of mods introduce parallax to our Skyrim world, and in the case of this mod, it's been put to use wonderfully. And yup, that's it for today. If you want me to make another video like this, let me know down below. There are a lot of mods in my load order I haven't covered before that deserve to be praised. Speaking of praise, if you decide to install any of these mods, make sure to endorse them on Nexus and let the modders know how much you appreciate them. Also, just before we end it off, I'd like to let you know that if you're in a position to do so, please consider becoming a member of the channel. Yup, for the first time ever, there's an official way to support me by becoming a sweet troll. Whether you contribute with a small dollar or even more, it's all greatly appreciated and can potentially help me go a long way on my quest to better my content and have this become, well, my life. It also includes some benefits, like a cool looking badge, emotes, livestream VODs, and your name in the outro and description of videos. I've always felt a certain way about paywalled content, and I'm happy to say I've found a balance that I feel comfortable working with. Otherwise, being subscribed, liking the videos, and showing your appreciation in the comments like many of you already do is already more than enough. With that, this has been Gim. May your road lead you to warm sands, everyone. See ya! Peace!